Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in today's bulletin, Brook Camp residents hanging on, Women's Refuge needs support, Chorus Giggatown done and dusted, Rescue Helicopter mission update, Flying Start for Waimarama Bird Sanctuary, Fun for all at Founders Park Christmas Fair. The Brook Camp has been in the news over the past year due to Council initiating an eviction notice to all residents, permanent and otherwise. In the camp, many who have made the camp a permanent home under previous management are still left hanging on to hope. The Brook Camp has had a history of attracting people who have found it difficult to find cheap, affordable accommodation. The council took over running of the camp full-time from the managers of Te Hununui Holiday Park and then used the excuse that the camp was running at a loss to close it. However, on investigation, it appeared that the previous management had always broken even and even managed to produce a profit of $20,000, which changed as soon as council began running the business alone into a $177,000 loss in 2013-14. The Brook Motor Camp residents were invited to a meeting with council officials on Friday to discuss a reprieve of sorts regarding their eviction, which was initially set for December this year. I caught up with campers spokesman Tim Mitchell to find out what campers can now expect. Tim, the community of the Brook Campground were given an eviction notice this year. You don't look very evicted. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, well, the process that we went through was that the community here at the camp fought back against the decision to close the camp, and we put through made a petition and got a lot of people to write into the letters to the editor in the paper, and the Nelson Mail did a lot of very in-depth articles on the situation at the camp here. And so the council changed their minds from their original proposal, and now they're coming back to draw up a management plan, which is a more democratic process than originally the very heavy-handed tactic that was used to say that we all have to be out by November this year, and that's been put on the back burner for now, so they're putting through a new proposal.
So you had a meeting last Friday with council, with the administration of council. How did that go? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there was, most of the residents were there to hear the ideas that the council had about this new proposal, and they called it a courtesy meeting with the residents to explain what the process would be as far as drawing up this management plan, and they were calling for submissions from the residents to have their say on what the concerns that the residents have got over the different issues that have been raised in the past in the paper about the camp and all these various vested interest groups. And so it was a chance to air our feelings and give the council an idea of where our concerns are as far as this management plan that's going through and starting the process now.
Yeah, that's great. Do you think that it's going to be a fair and open sort of submission process?
Well, we'd like to think that. There's a lot of suspicions that there is a lot of hidden agendas going on that hasn't been discussed with the residents, and so it'd be nice to think that all the submissions from the public as well as from the residents here would be heard as openly as all these other stakeholders that they've called them that have an interest in this land, so we'll just have to wait and see if that's the case.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Some of the issues around this is to do with the housing and affordable housing. A lot of people here because there is no other affordable housing in Nelson, do you think?
There are people with various life situations, and one of them is the affordability, and that is probably actually the main reason that people move up here. But it is a very beautiful area, and people that have the option of living amongst nature rather than in town have probably decided to do that for lifestyle choices and the beauty of the area and the peacefulness of it. So yeah, there's quite a few reasons, I suppose, that people are doing that are moving here.
Hey, thanks very much, Tim, and we hope all the best for your upcoming submission process and actions against the council.
Well, thank you for having me. Thanks for the chance to speak.
The White Ribbon Awareness kicked off last week, beginning with the Patriot Motorcycle Club, who have taken the White Ribbon Pledge never to commit, condone or remain silent about men's violence against women. This week, Chrissy Small caught up with Nelson Women's Refuge manager Katie O'Donnell to talk about the demand for the service and how funding for it is going.
Katie O'Donnell, Manager of Nelson's Women's Refuge. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Chrissy. It's nice to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, White Ribbon was launched last week.
Yes.
Women's Refuge. It's a big number, really. The amount of disasters and family breakdowns and relationships and violence. And you guys are at the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, really, aren't you?
Well, we are in some sense in terms of our crisis line and our emergency safe housing for women and children, but we do a lot more than that because we also provide advocacy, support. We have a child youth advocate. We're running children and rangatahi programs. We have a counsellor. So we're trying to cover a much broader spectrum than just being the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. And we're also really committed to being involved in community initiatives like White Ribbon Day, like the Torito Network and other organisations like that.
How is Torito going? Because, I mean, that's been going for a few years now and it's pulling all the groups together. Is the communication happening amongst them all?
Well, as you know, I'm quite new. So I've been to one Torito Network meeting and I thought it was excellent because everyone, after an initial kind of round, everyone split into focus groups. So instead of sitting for 2 hours trying to get through a great big agenda, everyone went away for an hour, talked about their particular topic and came back. And actually yesterday I was at the A&P show with a lovely man from Stopping Violence Services, who I probably shouldn't name, I don't know, because I haven't got his permission, but anyway. And we were on the White Ribbon stall there and the Torito stall and sort of next to the Seroptimists, and we had great feedback from the community.
Great.
It's really good.
It is. Okay, so how is demand going for your services this year so far?
It's always busy, Chrissy, to be honest. There aren't very many downtimes. And as this is my first year, I'm relying on the staff to tell me, and they tell me that normally at this time of year things start to wind down a little bit, but this year they're just as busy as they were 3 months ago.
Right.
And that's interesting because we don't know if the actual incidences of domestic violence is going up or down. What we do know is the reporting is going up. And that's what we respond to. So we get the police reports every morning, and then the staff go out and they deal with those reports. They contact the women, they see what they need. This morning's always really busy because it's Monday morning and a lot happens over the weekend. But we have a great bunch of volunteers who take those calls. I think this year, normally around about Christmas, it can be in bursts, so it can be very busy, but sometimes families try and make the best of Christmas and New Year. They try and stick together and put the issues aside for the kids, and then it's often after Christmas, getting into January, February, the kids go back to school, the stresses build up again, that we get another spike.
And of course not just the stresses build up, but the bills over that time build up,
the bills
and it's
build
an
up.
expensive time of year.
Yeah, it's part of the stress.
That is a big part of the stress, isn't it? Okay, so, right, how is the funding going for the organisation? Because you need to keep that money coming in to be able to give out that service.
Yeah, well, I guess as an NGO, there's never enough funding to go around, from our main funders. There's never enough to cover everything. So we do rely on about 40% of our funding to come from other areas than our main government funders, who are MSD, Ministry of Social Development. Having said that, my experience of the Nelson community has just been fantastic. So you'll probably know that we were out on the street last week because we're on Mainland TV, which was great.
That's right.
With the car company. So the car company do this partnership fundraiser with us every year. Over the 2 weeks, which was only actually 5 days out on the street, we raised over $2,000. And people were very generously giving $20, $10. I was really blown away. And so we do that in partnership with the car company, and they give their $50 per car sold for the month of November to us as well.
Right.
So we won't know what that is until the end of the month, but it's just been fantastic. And so the Nelson Mail came out in support and helped collect on the street as well, as did the Marcos.
Gosh.
So, I really feel that the support for refuge, it's really heartening. And the other thing that's happening is we're coming up to Christmas, and along with Salvation Army and some other agencies, we try and put food parcels together for our most vulnerable families. So we'll draw up a list from our database of the ones that we know are going to be really struggling over Christmas. And there are people out there who are just so generous, really makes the job worthwhile, who are going to be giving us enough food so that we can put together probably a Christmas dinner hamper
Right.
with all the trimmings,
Great.
you know, to take to a family. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, so, okay, now your group here, how many volunteers and paid employees are there that keep this operation going?
Well, we have 10 paid employees, including myself, and we have a small group of volunteers. So we're just about to start our drive for a new cohort of volunteers, because volunteers are really the lifeblood of what we do, because we have, out of our other eight workers, no one is full-time apart from me. So everyone is juggling their own family, their own part-time work with the refuge work, and everyone goes over and above. Everyone does their turn on crisis line, you know, so that means taking the pager home at night after you've done a day's work and waiting for the call.
Sure.
So, you know, so we are about to do our next drive for volunteers. It's really rewarding work, and they get training. So they get a really good sound training in how to respond to crisis calls, around domestic violence, around how to liaise with police. So we give them a lot of support as well.
So that's great, isn't it? That people learn those skills. Now we heard last week that the Hamilton Women's Refuge is closing down. Do you know anything about that?
I don't actually. I haven't heard.
No.
So
That would be unusual, though, wouldn't it? That a refuge
yes, it
close
would.
down?
So there are 42 refuges that belong to the National Collective of Independent Women's Refuges. There's an office in Wellington that helps to maintain those independent refuges in terms of having a national voice, but also in terms of service delivery support. So there's 2 workers who go out and maybe if a refuge is struggling with their reporting issues, or they have some funding issues, whatever, or maybe their policies and procedures might be getting out of date and they might feel a bit overwhelmed. There are workers from the National Office who can come out and help support them and get everything back on track.
Sure.
So I don't know what's happened in Hamilton. I haven't heard. You know, small community groups often have various issues, whether that be internal or external.
Right.
Who knows?
But you're saying under the big body, you get the funding through as a large.
We will because things are turning more that way. So our funding will come under the umbrella of the national body, but we also have local funding.
Right.
And so we have relationships with our local child, youth and family financial advisors to get funding as well. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, gosh, great work. And, you know, it's unfortunately in society we need organisations like Women's Refuge. What does Nelson's Women's Refuge need more than anything right now?
Right now, volunteers.
Right.
Volunteers for Crisis Line, because we're coming up to the Christmas period. It doesn't look like it's going to, it doesn't look like it's going to be kind of quietening down at all. And I think keep your eyes and ears open, everyone, for our drive for the Christmas hampers and for toys, because we want to be giving as much joy to families who are struggling as we can. And I'll just maybe give you our numbers. Our office number is 03548 3354, and our 0800 number if you're in crisis or you just want to ask a question is 0800 16 33 44, and there'll always be someone to answer your call.
Great.
The official White Ribbon Day is taking place Tuesday of this week, and it will all be happening on the small stage below Nelson's church steps in the 1903 square from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. There will be a pledge register there for everyone to sign. Also, white ribbons will be handed out to people for them to show their supports for this initiative. 12 p.m. Monday marked the official ending of the biggest free social media promotion that has witnessed regional centres going giga crazy for a chance to win the first regional connection to ultra-fast broadband. The competition for ultra-fast broadband was the brainchild of fibre laying company Chorus, who are now left to count each region's points to find out who has won this first fast connection. Chorus could be seen to be the biggest winner with its brand in what has been a year-long competition led by the ultra-fast broadband infrastructure company. The winning town will become the first in the Southern Hemisphere to receive a 1 gigabit per second broadband speeds up to 100 times faster than most cities around the globe. The winning Gigatown town will be announced this Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. The Nelson Marlborough Rescue Helicopter was called out to airlift a man aged in his 40s on Friday evening around 6:30 p.m. The man had been riding a motorbike on farmland when he came off while trying to negotiate difficult terrain. He was assessed by the paramedic for leg injuries and was then flown to Nelson Hospital Emergency Department. The rescue helicopter's next call out was to a man on Sunday after he was injured when his rifle accidentally went off while he was on a hunting trip near Murchison. The man in his 60s was on a solo hunting trip in the Tutaki area near Murchison when his rifle accidentally discharged while he was tramping through terrain. The man suffered from a blast injury from a rock, injuring his face and upper body. He was then able to make his way to a farmhouse where he called for help. He was treated on scene and once stabilised was airlifted by the Nelson Marlborough Rescue Helicopter to Nelson Hospital. Good progress has been made on the pest-proof fence at Waimarama Sanctuary since the groundbreaking in September. I went along and spoke to Bird Sanctuary Manager Hudson Dodd about where they're up to so far. We're here at the Waimarama Bird Sanctuary on a lovely day. We've got Hudson up here. Hudson, since the groundbreaking of this post here, can you tell us some progress that you've had so far up to date?
You bet. Hey Graham, the fence is underway. After all the years of planning, it's a very exciting time for the Trust. So we've had machinery on site, clearing the track that the fence will be built on, creating the bench platform since the 20th of October, so a month into it. We've made good progress. Taylor's Contracting is doing a very conscientious job of delineating a path through some of the biggest trees so as not to do any more damage to the ecosystem than necessary to create the bench platform. Work's actually going ahead of progress plan, so that's great. And so we're looking forward to actual fence construction starting after Christmas break. So in January we'll see the first posts after the first one going in the ground.
That's fantastic, and with progress going ahead of plan, we'll just keep our fingers crossed that's going to carry on. Yeah. And I heard that you're actually closing the Dunn Mountains tracks being closed. The fence is not on the track as far as I understand. How come the track has to be closed to the public?
Yeah, that's right, Graham. The track will have to be temporarily closed for construction. We're trying to minimize that as much as possible. The reason for it is for the public safety. One of the health and safety requirements is that when you're doing tree work, you need to exclude the public from a distance of at least 2 tree lengths of the tallest tree in the area. And even though we're building the fence at least 50 meters below the Dunn Mountain track, and in some sections even further away from the track than 50 meters, that still brings the fence line to within the 2 tree lengths. So for public safety, we need to make sure everyone is well and truly clear of the construction zone, because it is a construction project. There's heavy machinery, there's trees being felled, so people need to be aware that the Dunn Mountain track will be closed, but only during construction hours, so 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, not on the weekends, not on the evenings, not on public holidays. In fact, it'll be completely open for a 3-week period over the Christmas break. So there's plenty of time that the public can use the track on the evenings and weekends, but during the construction hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, it will have to be closed.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, for public safety, and as you say, it's only for a short amount of time while the one section gets done. So that's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And we appreciate the public's understanding on that. We've been reaching out to all the recreational user groups, the cyclists, the hikers, the trampers, to let everyone know that it's happening. And you know, the groups basically express the sentiment of, well, we'd prefer it if the track weren't closed, but we understand that it's necessary for the project and that we're doing our best to keep it to a minimum. So everyone's on board with it, and we're just going to get this done and get it behind us and then be able to move on. So the period of track closure is basically from now until about mid-March, with, again, a 3-week period over Christmas when it's all open.
Okay, great. And just on a different topic, you've reached your donations, that what you wanted to get, and are you still looking for more donations and more people to sponsor the fence post and volunteers?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Graham. We do have an amazing cohort of volunteers, almost 400 people pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into the project every week. But we do need more, actually. So there's opportunities for helping us staff the visitor center, helping with field work in the field, and also helping in the offices and at public events. So there's a range of opportunities if people want to inquire at our office or go to our website, brookssanctuary.org. And yes, thanks for asking. There are still fence posts to sponsor. The public support has been fantastic outpouring. We're really appreciative of everyone who's sponsored one of the approximately 1,200 fence posts that have been sponsored to date. But there are almost 7,000 fence posts to build the fence, so there's still plenty left. And each one makes a great legacy gift because it comes with a memorabilia plaque. You can put your name or a loved one's name or a message on it. That's a long legacy gift. So you can sponsor a fence post on our website very easily, or pop into one of our offices at the visitor center here at the sanctuary or at Morrison Square in town.
Hey, thanks very much, and good luck with all the work you're doing.
Thanks very much, Graham.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It was a great day for Founders Christmas Market on Sunday, with everything that was happening, from music, games for the kids, people picnicking, wine and beer tastings, and people just enjoying the atmosphere. I went along to find out what drew people there. We've got Betty down here on a lovely day at Founders, and we're asking her what brought her down here today. Betty?
Oh, I wanted to come and spend some time in the sun and look for Christmas gifts.
Excellent. And did you find any?
No, I've been doing tasting and drinking, and they've been lovely samples. But I have some in mind. I'm going back for. There's so much here, so much talent in Nelson.
Thank you very much, Betty.
Pretty much just Christmas shopping and looking around, yeah.
Nice. And how about you?
I really want to buy some Christmas presents for my friends and family back in Norway, so I guess that's the main reason.
Yeah, I'm just I've never been here before, so it's nice to see it, and I want to buy Christmas presents for my family back in Germany as well.
I just really like the variety of gifts that are down here that you don't normally see anywhere else.
Oh, fantastic. And how about Rosie? What brought you down here?
I like shopping for my family and getting all the Christmas gifts and trying out the free samples.
Oh, nice. And have you looked at some ideas that maybe you can make yourself?
Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
There sure is. Hey, thanks very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yes, although we are still in the month of November, many Nelson people are thinking about and preparing for Christmas and the act of giving. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.